morning. My name is LaShonda, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Infrastructure Management Global Community Webcast, the Consolidated Device Certification Program for IM Solutions. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. I will now turn today's call over to Mr. Robin Qin, Director of Software Engineering, to begin. Please go ahead, sir.
Good morning, everyone. And my name is Robin Qin, and the Director of Software Engineering, manages the Consolidated Device Certification Program. And welcome. Okay. And today we're going to talk about what the infrastructure management solutions are, and what the original solution-dependent device certification approach, and what the new development improved the Consolidated Device Certification Program, and what the benefit for the customer, and what the current certification repository, and what the process if a customer needs a new device cert. And also, we're going to talk about how to improve the delivery and what advancement we have made. And at the end, we will collect the question and provide answer. And for the Consolidated Certification Program, we're going to cover the CAE infrastructure management tools, include CAE eHealth, CAE Performance Management, CAE Unified Infrastructure Manager. And I'm sure like many customer or user, you have using one or two, the CAE solutions. May not everyone using all the solutions. So I will using one slide to show you high-level architect from the 3 solutions. This is a CAE eHealth. Probably most of the customers know this one already, since this solution has been exist for 15, 20 years already. Okay, so in high level, basically the CAE eHealth, we will run the discover process to talk to the SMP agent from the device. The device can be the router, switch, server, application, and so on. And we will pass back the discovered information and run through the merge process, and then to determine this is a newly discovered or this original discovered with some update, or original discovered and now it's missing. Okay, then we will merge this discover result into our database. After that, we start a polling. By default, every 5 minutes polling, and the user can control 1 minute fast polling or 15 minutes polling and so on. Once we collect the data 2 polls or more, and we have built up the historic data, and the customer can start to run the report to see the statistic. Or user can using the live exception to trigger alarm based on the threshold setup. And the CAE Performance Management, they have a similar thing and aiming for the CSP customer, carrier scale provider. At the bottom, you can see we have different switch, router, server, and so on, and illustrate that this like devices in the network to be monitored. And then we have a layer here called the data collector, which will run the discovery and collecting data. And then we are aggregating the data into the data aggregator, or DA. Then the DA pass the data into our data repository, which is a database. And after a few polls, and the CAE Performance Center able to run the report on the report dashboard and other different report and alarm and so on. And for the CAE Unified Infrastructure Manager, we have a similar thing here. And you, through the SMP Collector Pro, you talk to the device and run through the discovery, and then you start using the poll agent to pull the data. and you save the database, save the statistics data into the database, then later on you're using the unified measurement portal to display the data and metrics, graph, and so on. So this is basically like a one slide to show you, the roughly how the three solutions work, and each one have their own kind of strengths, like, the CPM is good on the large scale, and the UM is good on the server, storage, application, and so on. And eHealth, a lot of customers have been using that for years and have a built-up stuff there already. And then the customer say, why we need a certification? Why is it make it useful to us? Okay, so basically, like we consider, the customer, right? So in the customer network operation center, and easily they have a multiple vendor and a different device model to build up their network or application there. And each vendor or each even major device model can easily provide a kind of element manager or sometimes like a network management from the vendors. So which we are making is multiple tools from the different vendor to, configure and monitor their devices. So CA's solution here, like I show here, okay? So we provide a one tool for you, and you can discover from different vendor of the device, and you can, collect the different data. And after that, we are, normalize this data into a standard format. So this one, no matter this is, the one that implement different, we still able to get the normalized data. For instance, right, the Juniper have their response path called RPM, and Cisco have their IPLSA. But at the end, they are response path testing, and they talk about jitter, round trip delay, and so on. So after the normalization process, we can using unified kind of a normalized format to present the data, to save the data. That will be a benefit for the customer. And we can handle multiple vendors, different devices type. And also we can, meet the special requirement from the customer, like each customer may have their own different interest. And also current, in their network, more like they are constantly changing. And in order to compete, yearly the customer, adding the new device, adding the new technology, on top of a network. For instance, they used to be provide, old time you have ATM, you have a circuit switch of data. Later on you have IP, data. And later on you can enable like voice over IP, which is also enable extra, the quality of service concern. So that's why like a certification request keep coming, because the customer adding the new device on top of their existing network, or even the existing devices, they enable the new feature, new function there. Then they need to know, is this device is up running? Is this a new feature have provide the enough healthy situation? So we certify the device can provide you the key performance indicator and to allow you to check how the status of device, how the performance of this feature. So this way you can see that situation in one tool instead of a multiple tool from a different vendor, different device modules. And also, I give you a little bit of background why we are start to continually improve and why we start with a consolidated certification program here. And something we learned on the calendar year 2015, we have large kind of eHealth certification backlog at the time, okay? Which means like a customer have waiting for longer time to get their certified device. So in order to handle that better, we have go through a cert acceleration program inside here by looking for how to improve the development process, how to adding the automation tool to have on the dev and the QA testing, how to streamline our the process to manage the whole end-to-end from open the ticket with the support and later on to the development, to QA testing, to notify the customer, and to roll into the release. So after we've done all those kind of cert acceleration projects, we have able to reduce our backlog by 60%. That's a great progress on that. And the meantime, we learn is many customers start interested to migrate from eHealth to the CAPM or CAUM solution, and which also exposed a situation here. And the customer first asking, okay, I used to manage, large number of devices, large number of the elements, features in the eHealth. Can the new tool, next generation tool on the CAPM or UM able to handle that? Which will trigger the certification gap here. And this certification gap also leading to the growth of backlog across the portfolio in our products. Originally, we are handled the certification by different product team, okay? So each team have their own kind of expertise or history of that, a different approach to do the device certification. And if we have 3 products here, which I have the math here, say 1 + 1 + 1 = 4, it does mean I have a bad mathematics here, which means here is, yeah, I see some people start asking why not 3. So basically this is like, if you have a team do the cert, spend 1 unit of time for each product, right? So, but some product, they have been certified, let's say, on the old product eHealth before, and another team, they are new to this and they don't understand the situation. They have some, their best effort or gaps, and they certify the way, they send to the customer, say, no, the way it doesn't work for me, and look how you did the eHealth. That way we're happy to understand why we need that way. So that's why not 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Actually, you have extra effort, because the inconsistency between the products, okay? So that's why they have the 4 unit of time sometimes. And also a challenge to, explore how to improve the cert program to meet the customer requirements, okay? So collectively, this is a challenge we are starting to see on the year 2015. One thing that we improve on the cert on the eHealth, and 2 is increased kind of cert requests on the UM and the CAPM. Because this on the dev team, we have a sort of a duplicate, engineering effort, right? So one team does one thing, not, best shared with another team. And we are not, using our existing device cert repository efficiently. And sometimes you are, do this from scratch instead of, you based on something you know already. You have a knowledge base, you have, history there. And also incomplete of adoption of Agile best practice. We have, separate team on a different location, and which is, we may not enough velocity to handle the certification requirement, by the new product. And also we have inconsistent process, different team run a different way, and the communication channel and also maybe different. And so that's why that's a challenge we see, which is 1 is cost inconvenient for customer, 2 is, maybe longer time for the cert turnaround. Okay, so to face this challenge, okay, we have reviewed what have been done on the eHealth acceleration project, what improvement we have been done, what things we can further improve to consider this is across the products, across the solution portfolio, instead of talk about the individual products. So we come up, the idea is to the consolidate device certification, which means like we have 1 team going to develop the device cert for all the 3 solutions. And by doing that, now I have a new math here. It's a 1 + 1 + 1 equals not 3, not 4, now it's a 1.5. What I mean is, like, when we have a team doing the certification for eHealth, okay, once we're done, we can, using our automation tool, to convert that to the CAPM, okay, as much as we can. Then we do the manual tweak. The portion maybe need a human intervention, and make it available on the CAPM. And then we're going to do another minor converting and the minor touch, make sure it works on the UIM. So this way, we can spend a 1.5 unit of time to get the certification done for 3 solutions. Okay, that's the improvement here. And also, we build on this with the experienced eHealth certification team, because eHealth certification team have like 10+ years kind of experience and a long history on this certification domain. They have, the build up the knowledge on the device certification network and the CA product solution. So we can leverage what's being done in our certification repository instead of everything, you do that from scratch. And also we can, proactively to do the certification, close the gap instead of waiting, customers say, oh yeah, I want to, using the new solution, but you have large number of certification gap. I have like hundreds devices not covered by the new solution, okay? So we also not only improve on the certification development, QA testing, and packaging, and so on, but also we are improve the process that leverage CA Agile Central, the use called the Rally, okay? We're using the Agile development methodology here to track the cert process, the backlog activity, and so on. And also internally, we also further, consolidate the source code control. Something is done, something is still on the way. And with our co-located Scrum teams and cert development expertise, and we can do the streamlined certification development process with the automation, with this streamlined development. So that's why we can achieve the way we call is consolidated device certification with 1 + 1 + 1 = 1.5. That's the major internal development and the process change. Okay, so the next inside change, we hope that will become the benefits for the customer, okay? So the benefit, like, if you look at the end-to-end process from a cert ticket, okay, first of all, like you're going to have a common communication channel, okay? We have retrained our level 1 support who can do the certification handling across 3 products instead of like a different support team have handled different products approach. Okay, and also we have a consistent data collection between the solution. Let's say before, maybe because it's from a different product line, and each one they're asking you to collect the side of the information. Now we can collect one common set of data, right? Then we can reuse shared insight for the 3 product certification development. That will reduce the work for the customer. And also we have improved the certification to cross 3 solutions, okay? Because like a 1 engineer, when we do that, right, so we can set up the internal, like a simulation environment. One set can be shared or used for 3 development here. And one design document, right, we can share around among the 3 solutions. So we have a more consistent design. We more reused, the setup, and for that for QA, and which result in like a more kind of large certification coverage, and also increase the parity between the solutions. Now say, okay, something, you done the eHealth, you have to waiting someone to raise the hand, and they say, okay, I want that on the UIM or on the CAPM too. Now, whenever you open the eHealth certification, we're going to certify that in the UIM and the CAPM automatically, okay? So this one also is a better turnaround on the device certification full film, which also build a good, nice path for the customer in the future if they want to migrate from eHealth to the CAPM or CUM solution. Okay. And here's give you a quick overview, right? Like I said before, like CA device certification have been, 15 plus years of the history already. So we have certified over 200 different device vendors and have over 600 plus device models. And when we see the models, like some of the, we are by the series. For instance, Cisco 7200 model and the 7235 model, we treat as the same, okay? And we have certified all the popular, the vendors, you can name, and the huge. And I just give you some example here, like Cisco, Juniper, Nortel, Arctel, Lucent, Avaya, Huawei, F5, you name it. Almost, all the, device vendor, we are using the network or the server application we have done. We have a wide coverage on the certified device type too, not only the number of the vendor, like router, switch, modem, RAS, and server, SAN storage, workstation, on the application side, like a VMware, Oracle, we have huge like SSH kind of AIM also certified. And, some complicated technology like IPLSA, RPM, response, and so on. And MPLS, mobile wireless, quality of service, and so on. And by now, as you know, we certify about 150 device cert requests each quarter. And we anticipate that this number will be growth with our newly kind of streamlined certification process here. And we see the interesting, the certification increase for the, the CAPM and UM. So we expect the number even higher in the future. Okay, here's give you the quick high-level overview what the certification process is. Okay, so usually the customer, okay, if you have a new device adding to your, network, or even an existing device, but you have a new feature enabled, then usually you need a cert request, okay? So the customer usually go to the support.ca.com. You can open your request, or you can call the CA tech support, okay? And the level 1 support engineer, we are happy you first, because typically you say, okay, yeah, I have a new device, I cannot discover that, or I have a new feature, I want that, and how I can get that. So usually the support engineer, we're happy to identify if this is something wrong in the, the discover parameter setup, or SMP profile setup, and so on. So once they are ruling out those kind of common setup issue, and they will determine, okay, if this device is certified already, or if this feature is certified already. If it is, then they're going to, say, okay, maybe a defect here, okay? But for many cases, there's a new device, or even a certified device, there's a new feature enabled. So the support will ask you to work with you to open a cert ticket. And typically, we are collect 3 set of information: the vendor MIP, and the MIP dump or MIP walk, and OIDs. If you know what MIP table, what MIP object, what OID you want to certify, the more specific and the faster turnaround, okay? And in case there's issues, you provide something and we look into that, and then we say, okay, actually, you're asking for, let's say, the class, but you're actually, from your MIP walk, there's no .168 or the class, whatever the class MIP branch actually not being listed there, which means like probably you're for a special device you get the MIP walk, doesn't have the the class enabled or configured there. Okay, once you collect the three of the information, and then the engineer will work on the cert development, QA testing, and the packet for release. Once we've done that, we will notify the customer. And the customer have a chance to verify this support, right? So you're typically testing the live environment or pre-production environment before they roll out to the production. And then at the end, we will collect the information, update our cert-wide portal. So next time, if you want to see, what device being certified on the which product solution, you're able to have a chance to look at that and to browse yourself and excuse me. Okay. Here's the cert-wide portal for eHealth out-of-box device cert list. So basically, the customer can go to this URL, and then you can, to select which device vendor you're interested. Like the example here, right? So we give the Cisco, and you can type in a keyword, and I just using the Nexus as an example. So you will get a list of Cisco Nexus certified in the eHealth product. And if you click on the link, you can zoom in to see which specific like MIP object or OID we certified, and even give you what the internal normalized metrics report capability there. And the same thing like here for the CA Performance Manager, right? We have the out-of-box cert list here from the serviceassurance.ca.com site also. Okay, you can search this one by the device vendor, or you can search by the metric family, and then zoom into the vendor cert and so on. As an example here, we can give you the reporting metric name and calculation, and if you zoom in, you're also able to find the OID and so on. And same thing from the device support.ca.com, you can get it from CA Unified Infrastructure Management out-of-box cert list. Okay. And so once you have the, you're able to see what out-of-box cert is, right? And in case you find a device or feature not certified yet, you work with the tech support, open the ticket. And once you open the cert ticket, and then next thing is, like I said before, is we will roll into the next release, okay? For example, in the eHealth, next release will be eHealth 6.3.2.12, which will be out in 2 weeks, okay, in the early April. And similar thing, we're going to have like side have, SMP Collector 3.2, where you include the new certification there, and CAPM 2.8, where, come out soon and include the new certification device. Okay, and some customers say, okay, it's good to know my certified device, including the next release. What if I need that urgent? What if I want before the release date? Okay, so we have developed the, the on-demand certification approach to provide out-of-band certification delivery. So basically, the user or customer can go to this URL on the top here, and they can find out the cert on-demand delivery list. And usually we are updating this list every 2 weeks. And so if the customer needs this cert urgent before their final release, they can check here. Okay, so this is the enhancement or improvement that we are working on already. Okay, and similar thing, we also work on the side. So we are working on like the decouple, like SMP collector with the cert. Once we've done that, we can provide the out-of-bound delivery too. Okay, and so that's the way we are listening from the customer and response to your request, and continue to improve the certification process. And basically that's all of my coverage. Okay, so as a recap, so we go through what the CA infrastructure management solutions are, and what the original solution-dependent certification approach, the challenge, and then our response to with the new consolidated device certification, and what the benefit to the customer, and where you can find the cert repository, and in case you need a new cert, what's the process to open the request. And also I talk about the delivery and advancement also. Okay, so I have covered all my topic. Hopefully we have provided some useful information to you. And now I guess we can have the question and answering.
Okay, LaShonda, we can open the line, please.
Certainly. At this time, if you would like to ask a question, please press *1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. And that is *1 to ask an audio question. And we do have a question from the line of Bob Miller.
Hi, this is Bob. I'm wondering on the CA Performance Center, you're still going to have the self-certification capabilities and the certification extensions?
Yes. So basically, the program we talk about here is on top of the self-certification capability. Okay. Let's say if the customer wants some, thing quick, and they want, leverage existing, metric family and so on. They want to do something quick themselves. Certainly, the technology is still available for that. But on top of that, we have beef up the internal certification team here, and we will provide the professional, certification service to the customer here too. So this way, I think some of the certification is very good, but some of them is a complicated situation, like, when you deal with the quality of service, IPLSA or the, RPM, those kind of things, probably sometimes hard for the customer, right? So that's why we offer you an extra avenue here. You can still do the self-cert if you're interested, if you can, but meantime, we offer the in-house cert kind of service here. So this way, and for a lot of customers, if they don't have the resource or the knowledge to do the cert themselves, they can, shift their energy from, I heard some customers saying like they are, have an engineer work on that a couple months to finish their cert. Now with this service here, basically you can shift your energy from research, cert, testing, packaging yourself and maintain yourself. Then you shift your energy to just identify the requirement and then provide to us. We will do that for you as a light work, and you can just testing then deploy. So this way, the self-certification is still there, but you can also leverage the in-house professional cert team here.
Okay. So far, we've only attempted the easy ones.
Yeah.
But even on the easy ones, I guess the key for us will be turnaround time.
Yeah.
How quick can we get it from you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I mentioned, right? So we are the program we start here is start from January this year. Okay, and so far we have been run this one about 3 months. And we see very positive result because the volume of the cert being done by this team and is much huge or better than the original approach. And also we have, to provide the opportunity to upload the cert in the on-demand side so the customer can get that quicker and faster.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Bob.
And our next question comes from the line of Ian.
Hi, this is Jan. Will there be any changes regarding TRAP certifications that we currently have in eHealth?
You're talking about the TRAP certification in eHealth?
Yeah, right. Currently, it is like I will have to certify TRAPs for each single device, and sometimes the customer has a lot of, let's say, brocade switches with different versions or hardware models, and basically they send all the same TRAPs, but maybe not 100%, and so it's rather difficult to tell to CA which of those TRAPs I want to be certified. It would be easier to just give you the MIPS and basically you certify all of them if possible.
Okay. And let me explain to this, okay. For the eHealth TRAP, right, so depends on the customer using, you know, like definitely eHealth is capable to handle the TRAP, but eHealth, they also have a spectrum is very, very strong, the fault management, right? If there's a large using, usually the spectrum probably is a better solution there. But let's say if the customer, you know, they only have eHealth there, they don't have a spectrum there, and they have a, you know, small or middle size of customer using standalone, something like that, definitely we're going to help you on the TRAP cert, okay? And in terms of the, you know, volume or how many the TRAP cert, so we usually work like this, or we suggest like this, okay? If, let's say, if a customer, they knows, okay, what's most important to them, because if you just based on the vendor MIP, right, each vendor easily to have like a few hundred MIP, you know, and inside that, their TRAP have a lot of different flavor on that. So usually the customer needs based on their need, right, and based on what feature they are interested in or they are enabled or configured in their device, then they kind of say, okay, focus on the TRAP on those kind of, you know, feature or function. Okay, so they have the both best of knowledge on that. Okay, so usually we ask the customer, you know, to make some suggestion. Okay, here is the TRAP list that we want to, you know, certify. Okay, in case the customer cannot, they say, okay, I'm new to this field, I don't have understand, and I only know like I enable, you know, I have an interface here, I have some certain feature here, you know, I'm interested to, you know, they provide some information to us, and then we have them to identify is there any TRAP defined in the vendor MIP associated with those kind of function area, then we can make some recommendation on that, okay? So we can also, you know, work with you as that approach too.
Okay. And do you say the gap between eHealth and UIM, for example, is this now closed, or will this be closed in the future?
Yeah, we have on the effort to, we have done a huge effort in the past year to close the gap. We have a so-called parity project going on. We believe the gap is reduced a lot already, okay? And like I said, like each like customer have their own special configuration, right? And so even though we are doing the, you know, do our analysis, and then we do the, you know, the common kind of gap, then we are close that. But in the special customer side, you may have your special configuration, right? You may be using your, you know, the, you know, voice OIP there, another customer using the MPLS, you know, different thing. So we suggest you like, you know, if you are interested in that, then we can work together, right? So to do the gap analysis to identify is there any specific gap between your eHealth and the UIM. So this way we can, we have internally started to develop a tool to have identify the gap, and we can work with the customer or the sales team together to see, you know, we boil down to the short list on that, then we can give you the confidence that you have a 90% coverage or 95% coverage. Then we can using the third process we talked about here to close the small, you know, the gap remained. So this way, eventually, we can, you know, cover 100% on that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And there are no additional questions at this time.
Robin, would you mind if we just take one from the Q&A panel that just came in, because I think it would benefit everyone?
Sure, yeah.
Rena asked, how long will it take from customers submitting ticket with CA to receive the certification? And is Spectrum certification handled by a different team?
Okay, so for the Spectrum, so far it's handled by the different team, okay, because they have, like I said before, they are not focused on the performance management, right? So the Spectrum products by nature is focused on the fault management, okay? So at this time it's handled by the separate team, and that's the current situation. But like I said, we also evaluate, see if we can further benefit from the current consolidated process, adding more product into this consolidated team. But at this time, the Spectrum is separate.
Thank you, Robin. Okay, LaShonda, let's just do one final call for questions, and then we'll wrap it up.
Certainly. As a reminder, to ask a question, please press *1 on your telephone keypad.
Melissa, it's Steve Guthrie. Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
So I just wanted to share with folks on the line that in the chat window, I pasted the URLs that Robin showed for the out-of-box cert list. So while the chat window is still alive, if you're not familiar with those URLs, now would be a good time to go grab them.
Fantastic, and I will be sure to post that in the community feed as well.
Okay.
Okay, so since there are no additional questions, I think we'll wrap this up. Everyone knows me by now, Melissa Potvin. I'm manager of the community. Melanie Giuliani is here as well. Feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see as a future webcast topic. We'd love to have your ideas. I'd like to thank Steve Guthrie for putting this together for us today. And Robin, great job, and Jim Mercer, thank you so much. We did have quite a few questions come through the Q&A panel. I think Jim has done a great job to get those answered quickly. The Q&A transcript, together with a replay of this presentation, will be posted to the community, as they always are. And that is it for today. Thank you for taking time out of your day for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon. We're having an office hours this Thursday to cover this exact topic. So if you think about any additional questions, please join us on Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for a WebEx chat, and everyone that spoke to you here today will be participating in that event. So we look forward to seeing you online on Thursday. All right, that concludes the presentation for today. Everyone have a great day. Thank you.
This concludes today's conference call. You may now disconnect.
Thank you, LaShonda.
You're welcome.
This is okay.